publicly access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may use any of the following access locations. And this meeting is being broadcast on the City of Lawrence City Council's Facebook page and on the Lawrence City Council's YouTube page. Mr. Chairman, that's all.
Thank you very much. Roll call,
Andres Castillo,
yes.
Sharon Burchell. I can see her. She's present. William Collins. He hasn't joined the meeting as of yet. Dania Amador Martis. She's present. Ernest Quartermash.
You're present.
Daniel Foley.
Yeah.
Robert Irving.
Here.
William Pedrick.
Present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'm gonna have two motions tonight for both meetings, the one from March 17 and April 21st to approve the minute.
Mr.
So-
Chairman, if I may interrupt, we still have not received the minutes from March 17th, so I did not include them in your package. We did, however, have the minutes from April 21st. So if we could approve those minutes and then still continue to carry the minutes from March 17th on the agenda.
Okay, let's do so. Make a motion for the minute of April 21st.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from April 21st.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now we're gonna have the financial committee report.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me well?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So I hope everyone did receive the package that was scanned in and sent last week per email. And maybe in the meanwhile, the mailed package as well. We first want to look at the revenue and expense report. That's the first page, and we are looking at April 2022, fiscal year 2022. In April, we did have an excess of revenues in the amount of 6,752 with 38 cents. That brings us to an fiscal year 2022 excess of revenues in the amount of 74,836 with 76 cents. Are there any questions to the revenue and expense report?
Anybody have any questions for the financial committee report?
The next one, we are looking then at the detailed report, as we really had nothing out of the ordinary in just regular expenses. There is none of the objects that I have to point out, just the monthly regular expenses. And please, commissioners, interrupt me if you do have any questions. The next, yes. The next, we're looking at the tenant payment status. And you did receive one in the package, and I also sent one out today with the updates. And you can see the updates highlighted in yellow. They were in your email. I hope you could open them. That was as a PDF format. And as we mentioned last meeting, we're coming towards the end of the fiscal year. I usually send out a letter with the next billing that is between beginning and mid-June to remind everyone to become current so we can close our fiscal year with no monies left behind. And that would be all for my finance report today.
Looks good.
Any questions? No question? Okay, sorry. Leasing committee report,
Mr. Chairman, if we could have a vote on the acceptance of the Finance Committee.
I make a motion that we accept.
I'm sorry.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's just that since I'm taking the minutes, it's easy for me to notice because I didn't have anything to write down there. So,
Okay,
so
I'm sorry about that. All right. Do we have a report for leasing committee?
Ms. Collins can't be here. There's no new business on, but following up from last month, I did reach out to Experimental Aircraft Association to meet with them and spoke with Penny actually at our meeting, and she was going to try to get people on her side together and then get back to me so we could set up that meeting. I have not heard, and I apologize for not reaching out before this meeting, trying to coordinate with that. I did brief the leasing chairman via voicemail about that, but I'll follow up with him to get that meeting scheduled before our next meeting in June. I'm working with the city attorney's office. There's a transition going on. The city attorney has been appointed a district court judge. And I spoke with the office today, and although she is coming in, she's trying to use most of her accumulated time, but she is transitioning over and putting a heavier workload on the existing first assistant city attorney. So I'll be following up with him to get information on the Rivoli license and what we can do with the restaurant when their lease time's out in August going forward. So I'll update the commission next month, hopefully with that information as well. Other than that, there's no other leasing matters to discuss this evening unless there are any questions from the commission.
Can I have a motion to accept the leasing committee report?
I make a motion, we accept it.
Any acceptance?
Second, Dan Foley.
All in favor?
Aye.
Airport security procedure report, please.
All right. Our defective antenna, we're still waiting for its replacement to come in. And there's no other change from last month to this month, but we still have not received our defective antenna replacement yet. So that's all I've got to report on that.
Okay, can I make a motion to accept the security report?
Make a motion to accept.
Any second?
Second by Dan Yamato.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All business. Communication from the North Andover Town Manager, Melissa Rodriguez.
I would just like to inform the commission that we only had one complaint since our last meeting, and it was from the resident that lives up on Bradford Street that caused the letter to be written from the town manager to begin with. I still ask that we keep it on there until such time as the commission feels as though we can pull it. I just want to get a couple more months of data so that we can respond back to the town manager, that we have listened to her concern and tracked the reports. And as of now, we have 19 since October. Given for an airport of the size and scope that we have, I don't think that's a lot, but I just want to make sure we have the data that we can respond back to her concerns.
Okay. Second point is correspondence regarding 27 Charles Street, North Andover, Mass. 1845.
Thank you. And that again is the building beneath the airport that is alleging that they're being flooded because of the airport's intermittent stream. We're monitoring that stream anytime there's a rain event over a half inch. And Dominic from Stantec and I go out there and compile the data necessary and file the required report with the Conservation Commission. We have to be back before them on June 8th. So I think at our next meeting in June, we'll be able to remove that because we'll then have a determination from them as to what's next in the process. So it'll become more of an ordinary business rather than this unique communication from that party. So if we keep that on until the next meeting, I hopefully will have good news when I report back on this issue in June.
Okay.
How was it the last time?
Excuse me, Danya?
How was it?
Oh,
the
it
last
was
one?
fine. We put those core logs, those large, they're not hay bales, but they're like hay bales, but it's coconut fiber. And the water is barely coming to the bottom of those logs. It is not coming out of the stream. It is still flowing from the neighborhood at times, but it's not coming out of our intermittent stream. It's staying within the confines of the stream.
Anybody have any question or comment about that? No questions? No comment? Table matters? Do we have any?
No table matters to discuss.
Okay. In new businesses.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners,
Transfer for- Go ahead. Go ahead.
I apologize. Do you want to read it or shall I bring it up?
I'm gonna read it because I have something second point to. So I'm gonna read that. Number one,
Okay.
transfer $495,393.30 out of retainer earning for the taxiway, C engineering and construction. You hear me?
Oh, I did. I apologize. What I'm looking for here, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we met with the Budget and Finance Director at the time we're putting our budget together. There's a large construction project, which is part of our capital improvement plan at the federal and state level that we're hoping to do next year. I say hoping because we really haven't gotten a commitment from the FAA that they'll fund it. They did announce some grants that they issued last week, but this project wasn't on it. I called the FAA asking what the level of commitment was to this project because it did come in at about $1 million higher than was estimated, actually $1.8 million higher. So they said it was going to be a challenging year, but they think that they'll be able to get the money, but they can't give me a commitment for it. And the reason I was looking for that commitment is the state wants us to have signed contracts in place with contractors before they will award our grant.
Hi, Louise, can I
So,
call you back?
I indicated to
Okay.
the FAA that I couldn't commit myself to the state
I know.
without a commitment from them that we would be able to go forward with this. But all of this is in anticipation. If we do authorize the transfer, it would have to be done before June 30th, because at June 30th, the money becomes ineligible to be moved again until November. So I just really want to put this in place and have the approval of the commission in order to go forward. If the federal government does announce later, like July, we do have the money for you to move forward on that project. I won't then be able to do the paperwork I need on our side and transfer the money out until at least November, and that may be too late to get the contractor under contract because they're only obligated to hold their price until August. And with the way things are happening in the economy, I think they would obviously want to renegotiate and increase their price with the way things are. So that is why I'm asking for this transfer at this time. And that would be for the project to remove taxiway Delta and connect taxiway Charlie and Foxtrot. And it would be enhancing the geometry of the airport is what the FAA is looking to do.
So we get that through a vote or motion?
A vote, and I would like to just give some background on the finances. This money is coming out of our retained earnings account, which is the savings that we've accumulated over the years. And presently, that account has $786,634 in that. As an enterprise account, we're required to maintain at least a 20% reserve of our operating budget in our retained earnings. So if the commission does allow the transfers of these monies, we will still be above our 20% reserve. So we'll be fine. If this transfer and the second one that I'm requesting is approved, we'll have over $230,000 left in our retained earnings. And that number will escalate. It'll increase when they certify the retained the fund balance from this fiscal year, and they'll add it to that in November. So we are fine from a fiscal policy standpoint with the city and the airports operating as an enterprise account. But I just did want to indicate that we do have $786,634 in our retained earnings account. So we do have the availability. And that's why I think the budget director suggested doing the transfer now, making it clean, getting it in place, since we did have the adequate reserves in place.
Okay, let's have a vote on that matter.
I'll make a motion to transfer the 495, 393, 30 out of the retained earnings for the taxiways, the engineering and construction.
Yeah.
Second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Good. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, the second matter is for a transfer of $60,000 out of retained earnings for an navigation easement project. This is a project that is in our capital improvement plan as well, and it is to obtain easements. They've done the obstruction analysis. You've heard us talk about that in the past. They've identified trees that are off airport property, primarily most of them up on the top of Bradford Street. As you leave the airport, if you're departing runway 5 and you're taking off to the north, you would be then going over the Bradford Street neighborhood. And there are trees in some of those properties that penetrate the airspace. And we need to acquire easements from those property owners to then permit us to go in and cut them down. This $60,000 represents our 5% share, as did in the previous vote. That's our 5% share of the cost. We need to fund our 5% share through the retained earnings. It was felt to be cleaner and easier if we didn't have to worry about the revenues that we're forecasting for next year. And I would just ask similarly, we will have sufficient reserves in our retained earnings account. And I ask the commission to vote to transfer $60,000 from retained earnings to that project account.
Before we go over there, I said before that I had something to clarify. On what it said, transfer $60,000 out of the retained earnings for the aviation. It should be aviation.
Actually, no, it's avigation.
Oh,
It is. It's
okay.
yeah, it's avigation. And I'll leave that to the planner who can later on speak to the unique use of that term and what it means.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not alone, Andres. I thought it was supposed to be navigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's the
I mean-
FAA vernacular.
yeah, I never saw that before, that's what I was thinking. I was reading while I was in Boston waiting for my wife, and I said, this is an aviation or aviation, But
Listen,
anyway,
with the way I've been typing lately, it could be navigation or aviation, but
okay,
I'm
okay, so
pretty clear I have that one.
now, can I have a motion to transfer those $60,000?
So moved, Dan Foley.
Second,
Second by Tanya.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
What,
again, Commissioners.
Mike, would you like to read the third one? So
I will.
You're the one in command anyway.
Oh, no, I'm just
And
You're-
I'm the
you're-
reading
you're
matter.
servant
I'm the
here.
reading matter.
now you heard me talking about the need for the money up above in number 1. It's actually for this project. Dom just joined the call right now. He can fill in, but we had to go out to bid on the street following FAA rules for the awarding of the contract to do the work for Taxiway Charlie. And the lowest bidder, the most responsive, qualified, which also turned out to be the lowest price as well, was a company named Northern Construction Services, LLC. And Dom, in his capacity as our consultant engineer working for Stantec, evaluated all of the bids and looked over for accuracy and correctness and appropriateness, and vetted out the references. And we included the letter that Dom provided to us, recommending that the Airport Commission award this bid to Northern Construction, being that they were the lowest priced, compliant bidder and qualified to do the project. So we would just need a vote from the Airport Commission to proceed and to award the contract to Northern Construction Services.
Any question or concern about that before we make a motion? No. Can I have a motion to accept or what do you call it, Mike? Like grant the contract
To award the contract for the reconstruction of Taxiway
To award.
Charlie
Okay.
to Northern Construction Services, LLC.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? Any second?
Dan Foley.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you, commissioners, for that.
Okay, Mr. Manager, continue on talking about your.
You guys are
airport
going to be sick of my
report.
talking. I'll be brief. I think a lot of the committees touched upon what I was going to say. First and foremost, all staff is doing well. No COVID at the airport, knock on wood, it's getting closer to people. I think we had our own experience last month, but there's other people that I think we know that have had it in the area. It seems to be rebounding, but thankfully all of our staff is doing well. The electrical fault is still waiting its transformer. It's a COVID related injury. The supply chain issues have got this transformer held up, and the electricians are anxious to get this project concluded, as we are, because it's impacting our runway lights, and we want to get out all that new technology up and running and get rid of that old dilapidated building and close up that construction site. Mr. Urban Deck from Stantec is here, so I won't discuss the master plan. I know he would like to talk to the commission about that, so I'll allow him to have that time. And finally, late last month, our working foreman had a surgery, and he is still out, and he's expected to be out until July. But he's progressing well. He calls us constantly, texting us. He's very interested and involved with the airport. He's helping out the remaining operations gentlemen. Whenever there's a question or a problem, he calls them, and Domingo, from being home, can solve it and give him guidance. So even though he's not with us, he's with us, which I greatly appreciate. Barring any questions from the commission, that's all I have at this time.
On behalf of the commission, have you sent any letter of support for that?
That gentleman, no, I have not. If you would like, I can send one out to him tomorrow.
I would like to send some kind of, like mean support and the condition and wishing him or her be well.
I will do that.
Like I guess. Okay, thank you.
I will do that.
I talk from here, from my heart.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, go ahead to the next.
I just need a vote to accept my report.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the airport manager report?
I'll make a motion to accept the manager's report.
Anybody? All in
Second,
favor?
I,
Thank you. Public comments. Were you gonna say something, Mike?
Yes, we have motions been made and seconded, and just need a vote.
Oh, okay. All right, let's start for Sharon.
It's,
Oh,
Commissioner Birchall made the motion. It was seconded by Commissioner Quartermash. We just need a vote of all the commissioners now, up or down.
okay.
All in
Did I
favor?
miss it? I apologize. Was it voted?
No, that's
Oh.
it. Okay, so we need a vote now.
No, you just need all in favor vote.
Say that again, please.
You just need everyone to be all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine, you're fine.
Okay, thank you.
We keep bouncing back from live to virtual. It's challenging. It's challenging.
The thing is, when I see the big amount of money, I go crazy, and I want to go to the Dominican Republic. All right. Public comment now. Public comments.
Yeah, Irv, do you want me to go first and then you
Go
go,
ahead.
or?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Sorry I was a little late here.
you look great for it.
Oh, thank you. So I just have a couple things on the vault. I did talk to the contractor last week, and he does seem hopeful that that he'll get the transformer soon, hopefully sometime in June. And if he does, then I think he would like to try to complete that work in July, which would be nice to finally wrap up that project. What's left, just to give you an idea, is of course, getting the transformer and then getting that installed, switching over the power to the new vault, which will require a power shutdown So that shutdown will affect the terminal building, the maintenance garage, and the old vault. And then that'll be scheduled ahead of time. We've actually already probably scheduled it, what, like 3 or 4
Yeah,
times?
4 times. Yeah.
Yeah. So it will just be one late afternoon, so it shouldn't affect the restaurant, and then go into the evening. And they'll also have a generator available that will power the old vault, so that we still have lights on the airfield for during that shutdown. And then once the new vault has power, they will bring online the new airfield lighting control system. And that's kind of the final piece, with the exception of just removing the old vault. They'll install a fence around the new vault, and just cleaning up the area, topsoiling and seeding, and making everything look nice. So yeah, so hopefully by I don't know, sometime in August it will be wrapped up. So fingers crossed on that one. Any questions on the vault project? All right, and then just a quick update on the taxiway Charlie project. I don't know if I'm going to be repeating anything Mike already said, but we did submit the grant applications last month to both FAA and MassDOT. Typically we hear sometime in July, and hopefully they can fund the project, but we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, Mike and I will be meeting with the contractor, Northern Construction, and we'll kind of just go over our expectations and schedule. And then they'll start submitting us shop drawings to review. And our plan is to kind of, get all the shop drawings reviewed ahead of time. That way, if we do get a grant offer, then we can get the contract executed, pretty quickly, and they can get their materials ordered, so we're not faced with any supply chain issues delaying the start of construction. And if all goes well, construction will probably start next April. But we'll know more, I think, once we talk to Northern in the next week or two. That's really all I have. Any questions on the taxiway project or anything else?
Yes, I have a question. How long you think it take to do finish the project once it's started?
It's 150 calendar day project. So what is that? 5 months. So if they start in April, I think it will be probably wrapped up sometime in August, September timeframe.
Okay.
So most of the summer.
Okay. Any questions? Anybody have a question? No? Nope. Chair Commission comments?
If I could have a minute, Mr.
yeah.
Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Miss-
That's okay. I just
No.
wanted to give you a quick update on the master plan. Getting close to wrapping it up. I did meet with Mike 2 weeks ago, actually May 4th. I drove down and he and I and Christine went over the plan set, all I think 9 or 10 pages. And Mike had a couple recommended changes, just some minor things. And I took it back to the office. We made those changes and it was submitted to the FAA and the state now for review. So it's in their hands. They didn't indicate how long they're going to need to go through it. What's left is I need to hold one last meeting with the planning committee. I'll work with Mike to schedule that in the next 2 weeks or so. And then I would like to come back here at your next commission meeting and go through the ALP set with you in as much detail or as least detail as you need so that you understand exactly what the plan set looks like. And with that, we can wrap it up. By then, the FA should be ready to get it signed, sealed, and delivered. So I can answer the question on navigation easement. We look at two different types of easements for airport. One's a development easement, where the property owner is, the type of development they can do on the property, control to protect the airport's interests. In other words, you don't want them putting buildings up or things like that that are going to interfere with the protected airspace. The other one's a navigation easement, and it is navigation for aviation. And it basically means that you're giving the airport the right to transit the airspace over the person's property unimpeded. So in other words, that person, and it's used primarily to control obstructions, where the airport has the right to go in and clear any kind of obstructions, whether they're trees or buildings or towers on the airspace. And it's usually in perpetuity. In other words, you would protect the airspace. They can't go in there and plant another tree and then let it grow back up into the airspace eventually. So that's what a navigation easement is. Any questions for me based on that?
Any question, any comment?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Chair and Commission members. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
everybody.
much
you.
for your
Yeah.
attendance.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Chair, Commission, comment? Any comment? Commissioners? Vice Chairman, Chairwoman? No comment, no correspondence? Next meeting will be on June 16, 22 at 6:30 PM. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, yeah,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Stay
Thank
And
safe,
thank
very
you,
much.
commissioners. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Mike, for your help.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your
Bye.
votes.
Yep,
Stay
thank
safe
you.
as well.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Record.